Even the new system have problems, right? So we view them all the time, and we know that they have problems.
Okay, so hello everybody, thank you for coming. My name is Ayal. I teach these guys AI, and
Which guys?
these three people.
This is the AI group right there. Okay.
Um, we have two amazing people in general, and also amazing speakers. And I'm too humble to list all their achievements, but I'm very glad to have them here. I'm very proud that we were able to get them here to talk to you guys. So Bruno and Vinicius. So I prefer you introduce yourself.
No, you say whatever you want to say about me, and I'll just take
Bruno has been a developer, a software developer for many years, but he's specializing in career development more, and he's been working with developers of different levels, and he did amazing things with people that were able to achieve a lot in their career in a short time. And beyond that, we're just talking about it. Bruno is a puppeteer, and he makes puppets and he operates them. And he's even been a television star when he was younger as a puppet. What was the name of this kid? Of the character? Okay, I'll just let Bruno speak.
All right. Hey, hello everyone. Good afternoon. Is it morning yet? Have had lunch? Who had lunch here? Okay, you hadn't lunch yet? Okay, just hungry. So we are the last thing between you and lunch. All right, so we have to go fast, right? But they had lunch, man. So you have okay. So we're gonna do a presentation here. We're just kind of solving the technical issues over there. We're gonna present some cool things about with music and cloud. So let me just kind of get a sense here. So you're all doing tech here. Is everyone doing technology kind of courses? So tell me what. So they say they do AI, right? AI here. Who else? What else do you have? What else do you have here? So what are you doing?
That was an AI course as well.
You're an AI course as well. Okay, AI data mining.
Detection, operating systems.
Cool. All right. Oh, that's good. So how about you? Aviation. That's so cool. All right. So who else? What other courses are here? Cybersecurity. Nice. Who's here? Everyone in cybersecurity. So who's in cybersecurity here? Okay, cybersecurity. Who is in AI? Okay, data science. Okay, a few. So, hmm? Gaming. Is anyone doing gaming here? Music technology. That's also cool. Okay, music technology. What else? Music technology. Anyone else? Okay, what else? What I'm missing here? There's some people that
Marketing and social media strategies.
marketing and social media. That's so cool. All right, cool. Who else? What's I'm missing?
Computer science.
Computer science. Who does computer science here? Okay. All right. So I think do you get everyone? Did I miss anyone else here? Okay. All right. So so our goal here is to help you do the next step in your careers, right? So who here is already working on the field that you want to work on? Just you. All right. Just so you have plans already. Yes. Cool. That's so nice. Okay. Cool. So now, who here wants to work on the field that you're studying? Lots of people don't, right? What are you studying for? What do you want to work on? Help me out here.
We're all going to the
Hmm?
We're all going to the Navy.
You're going to the Navy? That's awesome. Who's excited to go to the Navy? Okay, so you volunteer for it? All right, so that's great. Okay, so that's a career too, right? So they have their career set. How long do you go to the Navy for before you go do something else? For the rest of your life?
Depends on what field you go into and how long you sign up.
Okay.
It's anywhere between 5 and 9 years.
5 and 9 years, right? So the fact that you have the next 9 years for your life kind of organized, does that make you feel good about it? Yeah, it's easier, right? I think that's one of the biggest problems that we have when we start in our careers is uncertainty. We don't know what it's not what you're gonna do, right? So having something like this, right? So actually, getting something that you're gonna do for several years, it helps. It helps a lot because then you can focus on it, right? And one interesting thing, you guys already did that, the same kind of uncertainty. I don't know how long you're here. So let me just kind of get a sense of how long you're here. Right? So um, who here has just one more year to finish school or less? 1 year less. Okay, 2 years or less. All right, 3 years. Okay, 4 years. All right, 5 years, 10 years. Sometimes some people take a long time, right? All right. Okay. So so when you came here, you already had a little bit of this uncertainty, right? So you do not know what to do. Some of you might be very sad. I want to do this, right? Some of you might not. Maybe you had to make a decision, had to talk to, to your parents, your friends, maybe to a counselor. You had to look at different things, right? And there was a lot of uncertainty. And that is uncertainty in our careers are bad because we feel nervous, we feel anxious, right? And so that's what probably many of you are going through right now. They got their thing set, right? Because they're okay, 9 years. So you said like 3 years to finish school, right? 2 years. Three, yeah. So you finish school and then you go to the Navy. Okay, that's nice. All right. When I study my senior year high school was here in the U.S. I study in a little city north of Atlanta called Rome, right? Rome, Georgia. And I had a good friend of mine uh, that he had that deal with the Navy actually, right? Because he was going to go into he was on high school, so he made a deal. So he's going to go for like 4 years of university, and then inside a Navy school, and then he would go to become whatever it was the next step, right? I don't know the names, right? And then he would do like four years more, and then he could do something else. It was like more 4 years. So he like 12 years of his life, and kind of pretty much like you guys did, right? So, and I think that for everyone else, right? This is a hard moment, right? You don't know what exactly going to do, what kind of work you're going to do. So, what bothers you right now? What's when you think about your career, when you think about what you want to do, because that's what I'm specialized on, right? I'm the guy that helps, like I was talking about. I help professional developers to achieve the highest level in their careers, right? So, just so you know what I'm talking about here, I had one of my mentees the other day, like early, about a year ago, he refused a job that was paying $700,000 a year, right? Because he got something better, right? So when you think about your career, about the things that you're going to do, there's a lot of possibility in the tech industry. A lot of possibilities. There's very well-paying jobs. There's a lot of opportunity in terms of excitement or things to do or technology to learn, right? I think that the technology field is one of the best fields in the industry. And so there's a lot of possibilities, right? But then when you think about those possibilities, uh, what do you think is your problem? What is the thing that you can't do? What is the thing that you're worried about? What is the thing that you're not sure how to do? Go ahead.
If I could achieve the goals I set for myself.
Achieve the goals you set for yourself? Okay. Who else? Here, go ahead.
I think one thing that concerns me is the experience factor, like the amount of benefit you can get.
How much experience do you need, right? Okay, cool. Who else? Achieve goals, experience. Who else? That's it. Go ahead.
I guess not being certain of what path to follow.
What path to follow, right? So you're studying AI, right?
Well, I'm majoring in cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity and AI. Okay, cool. All right. So not know what path to follow. Who else? Here, go ahead.
How to get there.
How to get there? Where you want to get? That is the question, right? There's the question. Okay, because yes, how to get. We can talk about how to get there, but one very important thing, do you know there's a movie and a book that I love. That's Alice in Wonderland, right? Do you know when Alice is talking to the cat, and she says, which path should I follow, right? And the cat says, well, that depends. Where do you want to get? And then Alice says, it really doesn't matter. First thing for us to achieve our goals is to have a clear focus, right? If we don't know where we're going, if we don't know the focus that we have, if we don't know what the thing that we're going to do, it's very, very hard to achieve. So you see that this group here in the middle, they said, we're going to the Navy, right? So they're calm, they don't have problems, right? They have, because once you have a clear focus, once you have a clear goal, everything's easier. Make sense? Because now we know the path, right? I know where I'm going, I know what I have to apply, I know what I have to do, right? I know the things I'm going to do. So having a clear goal is fundamental. This is probably the thing that, I get paid lots of money by developers to help them, grow their careers and go to and get somewhere they want, right? But that is the number one question I ask them. So where do you want to get? And the most frequent answer that I have when I ask that question, they say, oh, that's such a hard question. Right? So that's the hardest question of all, is where do you want to get? Right? Because, and it doesn't mean, oh yes, when I'm 40, I want to be that. It doesn't need to be that far away. Right? It can just be like this. Okay, so when you finish school, we're going to the Navy. That's awesome. Make sense? So that's the most important thing. So when you want to achieve your goals, be very clear about what you want. Very, very clear. A good exercise to do is that, think about a year from now. Imagine yourself a year from now, right? So if I come back here a year from now, a lot of you are still going to be in school, right? So maybe you want to say, okay, like 5 years from now, you decide, right? Let's say a year from now. If I come back here a year from now, what are you going to tell me that happened that was amazing? Right? That's a good point to start. You imagine yourself a year from now and say, looking back to my last year, what needed to happen during this year that would be amazing? And that's a lot easier for you to think about a path when you know where you're going to get. Make sense? Right? And so, and I think that's, and then I think you said, one of you guys said experience, right? So you said, what path to follow. So path is all of this, right? Focus. Find your focus. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people tell you, and you might be thinking about this too, that focus is the course you take, right? Focus is, aviation, or it's AI, right? But really, those are tools. Those are tools that you're going to use to solve problems. Right? And so when you talk about focus in the industry, people are looking for professionals that are able to solve problems. One of the best skills you can have, doesn't matter which field you are in, one of the best skills you can have is problem solving. So make sure you know which problems you like to solve. Even at the beginning of your career, right? What problems you like to solve, right? Because that makes a big difference. So let's say an example, right? So let's say, I don't know how the roof of this building here is. It's probably not wood, but let's say it's a wooden roof here, right? And it's leaking, right? So if I call a woodworker, right, and say, I want you to come here to my house and fix my roof that's leaking, and he comes here and say, I'm gonna fix your roof because I'm a specialist in hammers. Do you hire a specialist in hammers to fix your roof? No, why not? Because it's no, because it's not a hammer, right? The hammer is just a tool. You need a specialist in roof to fix your roof, right? So don't be tied up to tools. You can always learn a new tool, right? AI, for example, is just a tool. right? We can always learn a new tool. We can always learn a new programming language. We can always learn a new framework. We can always learn something else to do a tool. You know, the guy that's going to fix your roof is going to use all kinds of tools. And interesting enough, if you have a problem with your cabinets, a wooden cabinets, it's the same tools, but you don't hire the same person. It's not the same person that comes fix your roof or comes fix your cabinets, although the tools are exactly the same. Make sense? So when you're thinking about your career, you have to start thinking about, okay, so what kind of problem I'm willing to solve? You know, you mentioned avionics, right? And that's you're already working on it. There's dozens, hundreds, and thousands of problems in avionics, right? Which one are you interested in? Which one do you want to work on? Which one is going to be the one that you're going to be the specialist of? Make sense? Because here's one thing that you have to think about, right? Okay, so now everyone's paying attention to you, right? So, are you ready? Yeah, everyone's paying attention to you. Of course, right? So that's now time for me to pass for you, right? Okay. So yeah, Vinicius setting things up here. So okay. So then you're asking about experience. So here's the thing about experience. The only thing that counts is experience. Right? In the markets, people want people with experience. So yes, your university you studying, it's good, right? The courses that you did, it's good. The grades that you had, it's good. All of these are good things, but they don't set you in the markets, right? What really counts is the experience that you have. And so for you guys, getting the first job, the second job, you know, that might not sound like right. I just finished school, right? So that should count a lot. And yes, for your first job, the school, the course that you took, all this is going to make a big difference, right? And one of the reasons it's going to take a big difference is because different schools have different type of projects that you do. It again goes back to the experience, right? So experience is the thing that really makes a difference in the market, right? So especially in the long run, after a few years, no one's going to remember where you studied, but everyone's going to know what your experience that you have. Make sense? So the sooner you start getting experience, the better. The sooner you start doing things here at school with your professors, the better. Right? So that's why professors, I'm sure the professors, right, that's why you pass lots of exercises, right? And they have to do things, right? So the only thing that changes your brain is the things that you do. Okay? So go do things. Go solve problems for you. Go solve problems for your school. Go solve problems for your professor. Go work with your professors on things that are interesting for you and for them. Everything professor you have has something that they're doing, right? They're doing some research, they're doing some projects, they're working with some companies, right? Everything, the one that I know, Eyal here, for example, works for Gradle. It's one of the most used tools for building software, right? So if you wanna gain experience, go work with your professors on something that they are doing, something that's important for them, and gain that experience immediately. Don't wait until you're on the market to start getting experience, because experience is the only thing that counts. And I'm not saying that it counts for an interview or for a job. It counts for your brain. As software developers and technology workers, we work a lot more with our brains than anything else. So we have to understand a little bit about the brain. So here's the interesting thing about the brain. Your brain, it's a biological machine, right? It's biological, same thing as your muscles. So the same way that your muscles work, of course, different things, right? But the same way that your muscles work, your brain cells work. Right? What do I mean by that? First of all, what matters. So here's why experience matters. You know, when you're doing some exercise, right, and you want to get really strong, you know, you're probably gonna have to be very strong to go to the Navy, right? So you're gonna have to be very strong, and so there are some rules for you to be strong, because they're biological rules, right? It doesn't matter. Oh, I need to be very strong tomorrow. Does that work? Is there anything you can do to be strong tomorrow? No, it's not going to work, right? Now, can you get really strong by reading a book? I'm going to read a book about exercising. Can you get very strong by doing that? What do you think? No, of course not, right? Can you get really strong by watching a talk? If I come here and say, hey guys, you know, we're going to do some exercises, and you finish the talk, you're all strong? No, right? That's not how it works, right? Because our bodies, biologically, it only works if you do something. Same thing for our brains. Same thing for our brain cells, right? So if you don't do it, nothing happens. So it doesn't help. For example, you guys are doing AI here. It doesn't help to read about AI. You have to do AI. It doesn't have to read. Doesn't help that you read about programming. You have to do programming. It's the same thing as your muscles, right? So rule number one of skill acquisition is you have to do it, right? We call this you have to fire. I call this 3 F's. You have to fire your neurons, or something. You have to fire your muscle cells, right? You have to fire your neurons. You have to fire the right neurons. If you don't fire the right neurons, nothing happens, right? So if you're reading a book, you're firing the neurons of reading. That doesn't help, right? You have to fire the neurons of programming, for example, or AI. So you have to do things. Make sense? Now, interesting enough, even if you're doing some physical things, you want to be stronger? It's your brain that matters, right? You know, one thing that I've learned the other day, you know that when, you know, you're a nerd like me, you don't do a lot of exercise, so you don't stretch very well, right? And you try to stretch and it doesn't go very far, right? And we think that's, oh yes, my tendons are not very good, right? But in reality, it's not your tendons, it's your brain. Your brain is afraid of stretching the tendon. That's why it doesn't stretch. So you have to teach your brain that your tendon can stretch more than it does. Everything starts in the brain. Absolutely everything that you do, it starts in the brain. That's why that's why we need experience to get the brain working. Make sense? Vinicius, you tell me when you're ready, okay? Okay. So the first F, fire. Fire the right neurons. The second F, it's about forcing. Let's say muscles, right? I got this thing here. Let's say this doesn't weigh anything, but let's say it weighs like 1 kilo, right? Or 1 pound. I'm gonna do 10 flexions. How do I call this movement? Flexion? Curls. 10 curls. I'm gonna do 10 curls with 1 pound today. And tomorrow, 10 curls, 1 pound. A week from now, 10 curls, 1 pound, right? A year from now, 10 curls, 1 pound. Am I getting stronger? No. Why? Because the muscle gets strong enough to do the work that needs to be done. And after that, there's no reason for the body to put energy and increase the muscles, because it's able to do what I want it to do. Make sense? The brain works exactly the same way. If you're just doing something and it's okay for you, your brain says, okay, I don't need to grow, I don't need to change, I can just stay the way I am. And that's it. You stay the same level forever. That's why you have to force it. Every day do a little bit more. Every day do a little bit more. A little stronger. Make a little bit more mistakes. Right? But you have to force it, but not too much. Right? Because let's say I say, okay, no, yeah, 10 curls, 1 pound is not working. I'm not getting strong enough. So I'm going to do, 1,000 curls with 100 pounds. What's going to happen? I'm going to destroy myself. Right? So you have to force yourself a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more every single day. That's what you're going to have to do, right? That's what they do to you, right? They're going to force you every single day to be a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, right? And so you have to do yourself. If you don't have the luxury to have someone forcing you to do, you're going to have to force yourself. That's how you get experience, by forcing yourself, by doing the things that you want to do a little bit stronger every day. Right? So in terms of technology, in terms of learning, what does that mean? It means that you have to do things you don't know how to do. You have to force yourself in what we call beyond the comfort zone. Right? So the comfort zone is this place that every time you do something, it works. We call the comfort zone when we have more than 80% success. Right? So that means, every 3 or 4 times that you do something, you get, 2 or 3 of them right. So most of the time you get it right. That could be a software development, could be an AI algorithm, it could be, some avionics skills, doesn't matter, right? Whatever, some exercise. If you push yourself, that's the comfort zone. Everything you do is right. Now, some people want to do so different things, right? That they go all the way to what we call the desperation zone. Right? The desperation zone is that place where when you do things,